Welcome to a free fantasy audiobook by Sudha Kuruganti. This story is set in a world inspired by Indian mythology, found family, and slow burn magic. This story takes place years before Bloom and Flare, when four boys, long before destiny claimed them, found each other and became family. If you enjoy cozy mythic fantasy, slow burn romance, found family, and magic rooted in Indian mythology, you're in the right place. Sit back, relax, and step into the beginning of everything. Sparks, an Elementals of India prequel, written by Sudha Kuruganti. The heat felt personal. In Hyderabad, the sun wasn't just bright, it pressed on him, even from behind closed eyelids. It leaned down on Vikram's shoulders like a bored older cousin, determined to see how much weight he could stack before Vikram collapsed face first into the nearest dusty patch of ground. He stepped out of the auto rickshaw, hitched his backpack higher on his shoulder, and squinted up at the gates of St. John's High School. Red brick, too much glass, and the faint smell of freshly watered bougainvillea, which lifted its papery petals toward him like a needy toddler. He whispered under his breath, "No." The plant stilled. Good, at least something here listened to him. His mother had said, "New city, new start, Vikram." His father had added, "No using your charms on school plants. Blend in." Blend in. Right. Easy instructions for someone whose emotions made greenery behave like over-enthusiastic fans at a celebrity meet. Vikram tugged at the collar of his uniform. "Stupid heat," he muttered. "Stupid sun. Stupid yaksha metabolism." He missed Bangalore, the gentle drizzle, the trees all around that whispered stories to him in Kannada, the cool air that caressed his cheeks. He missed the small garden behind their flat, where jasmine vines curled around his fingers whenever he walked by, as if greeting a favorite child. Here, everything felt loud, bright, dry, foreign. He hadn't even stepped through the gates, and already a cluster of shrubs bordering the walkway leaned toward him, literally leaned. "Stand up straight," he hissed at them. The shrubs obediently stilled an inch. "Hey, kid," Vikram jumped. A security guard was watching him with mild concern, a newspaper rolled under his arm. "Talking to the bushes on the first day? That's new." Vikram's face flushed hot, and it had nothing to do with the sun. I was just... "Never mind," the guard said with a grin. "New student?" "Yes," Vikram mumbled. "Good luck." The man's tone implied he'd need it. Vikram exhaled and walked through the gate. He didn't want friends, didn't want attention. Attention led to questions. Questions led to slips. Slips led to incidents. He wasn't dumb. He could guess why his parents had moved so suddenly from Bangalore. Someone, somewhere in their community, had slipped up and drawn attention to themselves. Human attention. And his parents had been so scared of the consequences that they had fled the city. If it was one thing supernatural beings didn't want, it was human attention. Better to stay quiet, invisible, blend in. He knew it was the best way to get by, and he had no problem as a self-declared introvert. But being uprooted from a school where he'd finally fit in and made some friends, it was just too unfair. Well, time to go do it all over again. With a deep breath, he pushed his hair into some kind of order and made his way to the classroom. He entered just as the bell rang, and every head turned to him. Perfect. Just perfect. The teacher introduced him, Vikram Ravella, transferred from Bangalore, and pointed him to an empty desk near the window. The sunlight hit the potted money plant from the sill. The plant perked up instantly, as if sensing him. Ignoring it, just like a normal human would, Vikram slid into his desk and turned to face the teacher, who was now giving instructions for their first period. He'd just plonked his textbook onto his desk when a leaf slid into view. The money plant on the sill was practically vibrating in its desire to push its leaves closer to him. "Not now," Vikram hissed. The students sitting next to him stared. One of them snickered. "Talking to your bladder, new kid?" Heat flamed Vikram's cheeks. He sank into his chair and wished, desperately, to become invisible. But invisibility, he suspected, was not something life planned to give him. Not here, not today, and certainly not with the boy who would approach him in less than 10 minutes and changed everything. The third period was biology, which felt mildly comforting until Vikram realized two things. One, the classroom was essentially a glass greenhouse with desks. Two, the school apparently believed air conditioning was a myth invented by spoiled people. Vikram had just resigned himself to dying a dramatic dehydration death when a shadow fell across his desk. He looked up. A boy with messy hair, sun-browned skin, and an expression of casual confidence leaned in. "You're the new guy," he said. "Great observational skills." "Urjan Murthy," the boy continued. "My mom sent me." "What?" Urjan sighed, dropped his bag onto the desk behind Vikram, and plopped into the seat. She heard there was a new boy today. Leaning forward, he muttered from the side of his mouth, "A new Yaksha boy. Told me I should make him feel welcome, so here I am, doing my mother-assigned social duty." Vikram blinked, noticing the boy's amber eyes for the first time. He was a Yaksha, like him. "You're being forced to be nice to me?" "Oh, definitely," Urjan grinned. "But don't worry, we only have to look like we're getting along, so she leaves me alone about making new friends." He added air quotes with dramatic flair. Vikram stared at him. Urjan stared back. Then, naturally, Urjan shoved a biology textbook across the desk. "We're partners for the frog dissection." "We are?" "We are now. I volunteered you." "I didn't—" "Shh," Urjan waved a hand. "This is what friendship looks like." "That's not—" "Hey," Urjan nudged his shoulder. "Relax, you look like you're waiting for the ceiling to fall on you." Vikram didn't know what to say to that. Urjan didn't seem to care that he wasn't speaking. He just kept talking, effortlessly filling the silence, throwing in sarcastic comments about school rules, the terrible canteen idlis, and how the lab frogs probably had better living conditions than the students. Somewhere between his comment about super villain-level math homework and "my mom's plants are definitely spying on us through that window," Vikram felt the corners of his mouth twitch. A strange, unfamiliar feeling warmed his chest. Not magic, something rarer, a flicker of belonging. By the time PE class rolled around, Vikram felt like a wilted leaf taped to human bones. The teacher announced a quick warm-up run. His classmates groaned. Vikram wanted to lie flat on the ground and let the nearest patch of shade adopt him. Urjan nudged him. "Just jog slowly. You look like you might dehydrate yourself into a coma." "I don't think our bodies work that way," Vikram muttered. They lined up. The whistle blew. Everyone surged forward. Vikram lasted 30 seconds. The heat slammed into him, thick, smothering, draining. His vision shimmered. His skin prickled, his palms tingling in that dangerous way that meant his magic wanted to reach for the nearest plant. He stumbled. Someone shouted. The world tilted. Then suddenly, a hand clamped onto his arm. "Whoa, stop." A boy stood in front of him, tall, sharp-featured, with eyes like storm clouds, and an expression that somehow managed to be annoyed and concerned at the same time. Vikram could feel the energy buzzing beneath his skin, wild, untamed. This boy was supernatural, like him. He'd sprinted to first place easily, but he'd abandoned the run entirely when he noticed Vikram swaying. "What are you doing running in this heat?" he demanded, sounding personally offended by the weather. I'm fine," Vikram lied. "No, you're not." The boy tugged him toward the shade, not gently, but very, very carefully. "Sit." Urjan ran over, panting. "Dude, are you okay?" Vikram nodded weakly. Urjan shoved a water bottle at him. "Drink." Vikram drank. The other boy folded his arms, still glaring at the sun. "Teachers should notice this stuff." Vikram blinked. "You stopped running, just for me?" The boy looked away, as if embarrassed. "You looked like you were about to fall over, that's all." He sniffed. "I'm Jay, by the way, and I'm just staying until you're back on your feet." But the way he hovered, slightly tense, as though daring the universe to mess with this quiet boy again, said something else entirely. Something Vikram didn't yet recognize as the beginning of loyalty.
Lunch break was the worst part of Jai's day. Too many eyes, and too many whispers every time someone remembered who his father had been, before the incident. He tried to block it out, focusing on the sambar rice in front of him, Arjun was chattering about a frog that had escaped the biology lab. He had hopes, dreams, a family, and we were monsters. While Vikram poked half-heartedly at a salad that seemed to lean toward him like it wanted to be adopted. Jai was just beginning to relax when a loud voice sliced through the background hum of the cafeteria. "Look, it's the new kids." 3 boys swaggered over, their expressions smug. "Great, the lunchtime clowns." One pointed at Vikram. "Why were you talking to plants this morning? You some kind of nature whisperer?" Vikram turned red instantly. Another boy leaned over Jai's table. "And what about you, Verma? Heard your dad was arrested last year. Is that why you transferred in?" Arjun bristled. "Back off." The leader smirked. "Or what? Frog boy here gonna fight us?" Arjun opened his mouth, definitely to say something dumb, when a new voice cut in smoothly. "Wow, this is depressing." Everyone turned. A thin boy with messy curls and a half-tucked shirt slid into the seat next to Arjun like he owned it. A steel tiffin box clinked as he set it down, already helping himself to a pakoda. Vaid Mara. He didn't even look at the bullies. "Seriously, 3 of you, and this is what you're doing? Isn't there a wall you could be failing to blend into?" The would-be bullies stared at him, thrown off. Vaid took a slow bite. "Let me say this slowly so I can be sure you understand. Pick on someone who cares. These guys clearly have better things to do than listen to your discount commentary track." The cafeteria went silent. The leader blinked. "Who the hell are you?" Vaid licked chutney from his thumb. "Your replacement for the role of guy people actually listen to. Someone had to improve the casting." Arjun snickered. Vikram blinked. Jai tried not to smile. The bullies muttered something rude, but they backed off, confused, irritated, defeated by a boy who hadn't even lifted his head from his lunch. Vaid watched them leave, then turned to the 3 of them with an easy shrug. "People like that are allergic to intelligence. Don't take it personally." Arjun
Exploded. "What was that? Who are you? Can you teach me?" Vaid offered a pakora. "Sit with me. I hate eating alone." He said it casually. Too casually. But Jay could see the hope in his eyes. Jay cleared his throat. "I'm Jay." "Vaid," the boy replied. "I already know who you are. The whole school gossips. Annoying, but useful." Vikram smiled. "Thanks for helping." Vaid waved it off. I pick my battles, and you all looked like decent table company." Arjun shoved his hand forward for a fist bump. "You're cool." Vaid snorted. "No, I'm just bored." But he fist bumped Arjun anyway. And just like that, without planning, without destiny, without magic, the table had 4 boys instead of 3. After school, the 4 of them ended up walking in the same direction, partly because Vaid insisted he needed an audience. Otherwise, how will anyone appreciate my brilliance? And partly because Jay's protective hovering over Vikram had reached levels that made arguing pointless. Arjun kept bowling an imaginary cricket ball in long sweeps of his right arm. "So, new group name? I vote for the Frog Saviors." "No," Jay said flatly. "The 4 Legends? Absolutely not." Vaid scoffed. "Dude, you can't just give yourself the title of legend. You have to earn it." "Fine." Arjun threw up his hands. "What do you suggest, oh wise one?" Vaid shrugged. "We don't need a name. We're not assembling a superhero squad." Vikram choked internally. If only you knew, he thought. They reached a quieter stretch of road lined with neem trees. Cicada sang. Heat shimmered. Vaid squinted at the 3 of them. "So, what's up with you lot?" "What?" Jay tensed. "You're hiding something," Vaid said like it was obvious. "Vikram looks like plants talk to him. Arjun clearly wants to rescue everything that moves. And you," he nodded at Jay, "give off the vibe of someone who wrestles lightning in his free time." Jay blinked. What?" Vaid shrugged. "Don't worry. I don't actually care what your deal is. Everyone has something weird about them." He kicked a pebble down the road. "Just don't disappear. Had enough people do that." The air shifted. Vikram swallowed. For a moment, Vaid looked exactly like someone who'd built walls too young. "Okay?" Vaid asked lightly. "Okay," Urgent said instantly. Jane nodded. Yeah. Vikram forced out a quiet. Okay. Vaith's posture loosened. Good, because I've already mentally committed to stealing all of Arjun's notes before exams, and it would be rude to lose my source material. Hey! Laughter echoed across the road. They paused outside Vaith's lane, a narrow road lined with gulmohar trees. Vaith adjusted his bag. One day, I'm gonna get a bike. Arjun rolled his eyes. You can't even balance during PE. I can too. Dude, you fell off a chair today, Arjun reminded him. Vaith ignored him. I'll get a bike, a big one. I don't care even if it has terrible mileage, just so I can ride past all of you dramatically. I'll outrun your bike, Jai said, before he could stop himself. Vaith stared. Bro, objectively false. Vikram grinned at them, sunlight catching the amber in his irises. I call shotgun. Arjun grinned. We should make it a plan. When we're older, all four of us, a trip. Vaith raised a brow. You're talking about your future with astonishing confidence. Arjun ruffled his hair. Why not? Feels like we'll still know each other then. Jai didn't say anything, but the strange warmth in his chest, the one that had flickered since lunch, burned a little steadier, as if some part of him already knew. These boys were going to matter, more than he could possibly understand yet. The botanical garden should have been heaven. Shade, humidity, rows of glossy leaves, all those different plants whispering to him. But all Vikram felt was dread. Their class trailed behind a guide who was enthusiastically pointing out exotic varieties of orchids. See how the petals resemble a monkey face. But Vikram couldn't hear anything over the thrum beneath his skin. Too many plants, too many dying ones, too many voices. He lagged behind the group, drawn by a patch of wilted creepers, slumped against a stone archway. Their dryness tugged at him, an ache, a reaching, a silent plea. Just a little, he told himself, just enough to help. Vikram brushed his fingertips over a brittle leaf. Energy rushed into him. Too fast, too much. The world spun. The air thickened with magic, far too tangible. The creeper shivered, quittered, and then bloomed. Out of season, out of sense, out of hiding. Vikram's breath fractured. 2 students screamed. What was that? Did you see? Heart hammering, Vikram stumbled back. Oh no! Oh no, oh no, oh no! He was glowing. Faintly, but glowing. Jai swore under his breath and shoved forward through the cluster of students. Arjun appeared at Vikram's side instantly, grabbing his shoulders. Hey, look at me. Focus. You're okay. I didn't mean. I know. Breathe. But Vikram couldn't, because a girl was pointing. Her eyes were huge. It moved, like it hurt him. Oh, crap, Arjun whispered. Situations like this called for violence. Or strategy. Jai chose strategy. Barely. Move. Jai stepped in front of Vikram, blocking the student's view of his friend's still glowing skin. Back up. You're crowding us. Maybe it was the intensity in his eyes. Maybe it was the don't mess with me energy radiating off him, along with the heat. Either way, the students actually stepped back. Is he fainting? Ved's voice chimed in behind him, far too loudly, far too dramatically. Oh no, someone get the teacher. Vikram's got sunstroke, obviously. Arjun caught on immediately. Yes, exactly. He's dehydrated. Look at him, he's practically a raisin. Vikram wheezed. Raisin? Hush, raisin boy, Arjun muttered. The teacher hurried over. What's happening? Veth gestured wildly. Heat, too much heat, the sun, the tragic oppression of tropical climates. The teacher blinked. What does that have to do with? Sir, Veth leaned in conspiratorially. He's fragile. Jai snorted despite himself. Arjun patted Vikram's shoulder. We need shade now. The teacher, befuddled and overwhelmed by Veth's unending monologue about hydration protocols, ushered them under a massive banyan tree. Once they were alone, Jai crouched in front of Vikram. You good? His voice came out gruff. Vikram swallowed. I didn't mean to do it. I know, Jai said, more softly than he intended. You couldn't help it. Arjun squeezed Vikram's shoulder. We've got you. Veth flopped on the ground dramatically. Okay, magical breakdown number 1, conquered. Vikram's eyes flew wide. You knew? Veth shrugged. Look, man, I don't know what your deal is, but I've seen enough weird stuff in life to know when something needs covering up. And you guys, he pointed at all 3, you're my lunch table now. That comes with benefits. Benefits? Arjun echoed. Yeah, Veth grinned. Free protection from bullies, and also snacks if I forget mine. Jai wasn't smiling. He couldn't. He was too busy staring at Veth, because it felt like he was seeing him for the first time. This human, this ordinary, chaotic, too smart human, had protected all of them without blinking. Jai's chest tightened. This is stupid, Vikram whispered, voice breaking. You shouldn't get involved. I'm different.
Vaith raised an eyebrow. So what? You think any of us are normal? He gestured at Arjun. This one tried to give a frog CPR. Arjun frowned and said, he was choking on a fly. You, Vaith said, pointing at Jay, had steam coming out of your ears when Vidyut from 9A was being an ass to the librarian. She's a little old lady who didn't deserve... What? No, I didn't. And I, Vaith concluded proudly, am allergic to pineapple and good decisions. Vikram choked on a laugh. Jay felt his shoulders loosen. Arjun beamed like the sun. We don't ditch, Vaith said simply. You're stuck with us now. Jay felt the words like a punch to the heart. Stuck. He didn't know why the word felt comforting instead of terrifying. But it did.
After the school trip, the four of them ended up beneath the old neem tree, the one that overlooked the dusty school grounds. They didn't plan it. Their feet simply carried them there after the bus home. No one talked for a moment. Vikram was the first to sit down cross-legged under the tree, still pale but steadier now. Arjun scrawled on his stomach, chin on his arms. Vaith leaned against the trunk, twirling a twig. Jay paced in short, punchy lines, glaring at nothing in particular. Vaith finally broke the silence. So, he said dryly, do we talk about the glowy explosion now or later? I feel like later will only make it weirder. Vikram squirmed. I wasn't glowing. Arjun lifted a hand. You were glowing just a little. Arjun, hissed Vikram. Jay stopped pacing and shoved his hands into his pockets. Look, what happened today isn't normal. And you covered for us. His voice dropped. For him. Vaith shoned. You guys are my lunch table. I don't let my lunch table get bullied, by people or by creepy magic vines. I'm flexible like that. Vikram groaned. I knew this was a terrible idea. What, friendship? Arjun joked. Yeah, too late for refunds. Vaith grinned. Look, I don't need a full explanation. Just don't lie to me. Don't shut me out. I want to be in the circle, okay? Silence. Jay exhaled through his nose, long and low. Fine. Vikram's head snapped up. Fine? Jay? He cut him off. He deserves to know. He stuck his neck out today. His jaw tightened. More than most humans would. Vaith blinked. Humans? Arjun pushed himself upright. Okay, so, cards on the table. He looked at Vikram first, gave him a tiny nod. Vikram swallowed, raised a hand, and the neem tree bent its branches to them, practically basking in Vikram's magic. His amber eyes glowed faintly, golden at the edges. Vaith's twig fell out of his hand. Oh, he whispered. Holy crap.
Arjun took a breath and raised a hand. Glowing light exploded out of his hands, and his own eyes flared amber too, brighter than Vikram's, warm like sunlight through honey. Vaith stared between them. Wait, both of you? You're like eco-friendly superheroes? Arjun declared on a proud little puff of air. We're yakshas. Yaks? Vaith blanked. Yaksha, Vikram corrected, mortified. Nature spirits, elementals. Vaith nodded solemnly. Right, my bad, respect. Jay cleared his throat. All three boys turned to look at him. He hesitated, just long enough to make Vikram stiffen. Vikram muttered, you don't have to. No. Jay's voice was steadier than he felt. If we're doing this, we're doing this. He took off his glasses, looked up at Vaith, and for a split second the fire flickered behind his pupils, deep gold, molten, unmistakably otherworldly. Vaith inhaled sharply. Oh, hell, no, wait, hold on, are you... A Rakshasa, Jay said simply. Vaith pointed at Jay, then at Vikram, then at Arjun. So we've got plant sorcerers and a fire demon, and then there's me, a guy who once fainted at a blood test. Arjun patted his shoulder. You're doing amazing, sweetie. Vikram's voice was tiny. Do you want to leave? Vaith gawked at him. Are you kidding? This is the best thing that has ever happened to me. I have been forever chosen as the token human friend. This is Marvel-level origin story stuff. Jay's shoulders finally eased. You're not scared? Terrified, Vaith admitted, but also thrilled. Thrillified. Scaresighted. Whatever. Arjun laughed, the sound bright under the neem leaves. Vikram rubbed his arms, voice shaky. I just didn't want you to look at us differently. Vaith kicked him lightly in the shin. Too late. I'm looking at you like you're awesome, and also kind of dramatic. Jay rolled his eyes, but there was warmth in it. Vaith's lips lifted. So, is this where we do a dramatic vow? Vaith added, 2. Secrets are shared, not carried alone. Jay hesitated, his father's memory flickering like a warning, then said it anyway. Yeah, shared. And he felt compelled to add the next part. 3. We protect each other, human or not. Vikram exhaled shakily. 4. We accept each other, whoever we are, whatever we are. The neem tree muscled overhead, a gentle circle of shade. Vaith stuck his hand into the center. Group handshake? Arjun slapped his hand on top, obviously. Vikram placed his carefully, looking at them all with a smile. Jay, rolling his eyes but smiling despite himself, added the last one. Okay, he said quietly. We're in. Their hands squeezed. The air shifted. Something bright and warm settled between them. Jay looked at the 3 faces around him. Mischief, chaos, kindness. And something in his chest settled for the first time in years. Arjun whooped. Vaith smirked. Vikram smiled, soft and bright. The sun dipped. The shadows lengthened. The first spark of brotherhood. 4 boys, 4 futures, 1 beginning. 4 years later. The night before their Class 12 graduation trip, they met beneath the same neem tree, older but unmistakably themselves. Vaith had grown taller, his jokes sharper, and his confidence now was founded in fact, not swagger. Arjun carried a first aid kit everywhere now. Emergencies don't wait, he said, hoping to join medical school. Jay had grown quieter, his fire tucked deeper into his bones, eyes older than 18. And Vikram, now he felt rooted, in this city, among his friends. Vaith arrived last, dragging a beat-up helmet. I got the bike, he announced, like he had won a war. And I got my dad to rent one for you, Arjun. Arjun clapped him on the shoulder. You absolute legend. Jay shook his head. Is it even safe? No, Vaith admitted cheerfully. But that's why you're all coming with me. I told my cousins we're coming, Vikram said enthusiastically. I can show you guys all these cool spots back in Bangalore. It'll be a blast. They sat in the grass as they discussed their upcoming road trip to Bangalore, sharing a bottle of cola between them, knees touching, fireflies drifting like sparks through the air. They laughed, they leaned on one another. They planned a trip that would become legendary. Later, when the words died down and quiet descended upon them as they lay side by side in the grass, Vikram watched them, his boys, his family, and his chest ached with something too vast for words. This, he thought. This is how families are made. Jay looked at him. Arjun grinned. Vaith nudged Vikram's shoulder. A firefly floated between them, a tiny lantern. The first light of everything they would become. And beneath the neem tree, as the night wrapped around the 4 boys who would one day save cities, fight monsters, fall in love, and walk through fire, a tiny spark flickered into existence. The beginning of everything. The first spark. The bell had rung 20 minutes ago, and Jay's twin, Jaya Verma, looked one wrong word away from combusting the entire school with sheer attitude alone. Jaya had grumpy black cat energy wrapped in a navy blue school uniform. She didn't want to be here.
She didn't want to meet anyone, and she definitely didn't want to be known as Jay's twin. At school, she and her brother ran in different circles. It gave her a chance to be her own person, something she was really beginning to enjoy. Unfortunately, her welcome committee had just arrived: Vaith, Arjun, and Vikram. Vaith waved enthusiastically. "Hi, you're—" "Don't," she cut in. "Whatever you were going to say, don't." Arjun, irrepressible as always, smiled. "Hi anyway." Jay stood beside her, already regretting life. "We can go home," he muttered. "In a second," she said tightly. Jay blinked. "You want to stay?" She glared. "I need to ask Vikram about the assignment. Unlike you three, I actually do my homework." Vaith punched his chest. "I feel targeted." "Good," Jaya said. Vikram, ever gentle, lifted a hand. "I can help, sure." Arjun leaned over to Jaya. "She's like you, but efficient." Jay deadpanned. "Never say that again." While Jaya and Vikram quietly discussed the math assignment, Vaith nudged Jay. "So this is the famous twin," he whispered. "Infamous," Jay corrected. When Jaya finished, she snapped her back shut. "Now we can leave." "Right," Jay said quickly. Then he turned to Arjun. "Oh, before I forget, did you bring the notes for chemistry?" Arjun fumbled in his bag. Yeah, wait, don't tell me the test is tomorrow." "It's not," Jay said dryly. "I just need to copy the diagrams." Arjun relaxed. "Oh, thank God." "Thanks," Jay said, taking the notebook. Jaya eyed all three boys skeptically. "Are they always like this?" Jay exhaled. "Unfortunately, yes." Vaith grinned. "We grow on people." "Like mold," Jaya said, and walked away. As she strode off, Arjun whispered, "She's cool." Vaith nodded. "Yeah, terrifying, but cool." Jay rolled his eyes. "Stop talking about her. She hears everything. Are you coming, Jay?"
Vikram's house always smelled faintly of rain and crushed basil, the signature scent of a Yaksha family. His younger sister, Anisha, aka Naisha Ravella, age 14, stood in the living room with her hands on her hips, surveying everything like she was judging the world's least exciting fashion runway. She'd recently decided to go by Naisha. Anisha was too boring and plain, and she was already clear on who she was and what she wanted out of her life. Naisha was confident, definitely going to grow up to become one of the hottest models around, convinced her brother had zero social skills. "Remember," she told Vikram, "if your friends are boring, I'm leaving." "They're not boring," Vikram muttered. "Just loud." The doorbell rang. 3 boys walked in. Vade waved first. "Hey, Vikram's sister." Naisha took off her sunglasses. Yes, she was wearing them indoors. They made her look mysterious, and gave them a polite but curious look. All 3 boys felt the faint ripple of Yakshini aura around her, cool, fluid, subtle. A water child, just like Vikram had once told them. "Guys," Vikram said helplessly, "this is my sister Naisha." She gave a small nod. "Hi." Arjun blinked once, twice. He looked like someone had unplugged and replugged him. But he played it off, barely. "Nice to meet you," he said, voice cracking just a little. Naisha didn't notice. She was too busy casually inspecting the posters on her brother's walls. Vade, catching Arjun's micro-meltdown, pressed his lips together to hide the grin. Jay, more subtle, raised one eyebrow in a "we'll talk later" sort of way. Vikram frowned. "Why are you two standing like that?" Vade said fast. "Standing like what?" "Like you're buffering," Vikram said. "Just tired," Jay replied harmlessly. Naisha turned back. "I'm making chai. Anyone want?" Arjun said, "Yes," a little too fast. Naisha didn't notice. She was already headed out of the room. "You come and help Vikram, Anna." The second she was gone, with Vikram on her heels, Vade elbowed Arjun, quietly, subtly. "Bro." "What?" Jay snickered. "You short-circuited." Arjun flushed and whisper yelled, "No, I didn't." Vikram returned before they could continue. "Guys, what happened?" Vade snapped instantly into code speech. "We're discussing, the hydration levels of certain individuals," he said. Arjun hissed. "Vade." Jay coughed. "He means, the chai, ratio of milk to water." Vikram blinked. "Why would you need a code for that?" Vade clapped him on the shoulder. "Because chai is serious business." And that was that. 20 minutes later, Naisha brought the chai to Vikram's room, setting the cups in front of the boys with practiced precision. Arjun accepted his cup with both hands like it was a sacred relic. Naisha didn't notice, turning to her brother. "Don't spill, Anna. Oma will kill us."
Vikram sighed. "Can you not threaten death in front of guests?" "I'm being realistic," she said. She drifted back to her own room soon after. Vikram followed, saying something about needing help with the laundry later. The moment they were gone, Vaith leaned over Arjun's shoulder. "So," he said lightly, "you okay?" Arjun sipped chai with forced nonchalance. "I'm fine." Jay's eyes sparkled with mischief. "Hydrated enough?" Arjun choked. "Stop using the code." Vaith snickered. "We'll use it forever." Arjun groaned. "I hate both of you." Jay laughed. "You love us." Arjun sighed. "Unfortunately," he muttered.
Outside a small flat in Begumpet, a few days later. Jaya and Jay walked in silence down the road toward home. Jaya kicked a pebble. "Your friends aren't awful." Jay glanced at her. "High praise." She nudged him, just barely. "They make you look less grumpy." "I'm not grumpy. You're grumpy." He sighed. "Fine." Jaya added, "They fit you." Jay stayed silent, but the small smile on his face said everything. Jaya looked at him sideways. "You're lucky, you know," she said quietly. "Why?" "To have people who choose you." And before he could respond, she walked off towards their home, ponytail swaying behind her, leaving Jay to chase after her. Later that evening, Vikram sat at the dining table, while Nisha scrolled through her phone, blissfully unaware of the critical meltdown she had caused in one Yaksha boy. At the same time, Arjun lay face down on Vaid's couch while Vaid played video games loudly next to him. And somewhere across town, Jay walked home with Jaya, both twins in a comfortable silence that only siblings could understand. It was the first day two sisters entered the boy's orbit. Only a ripple, nothing explosive yet. But one day, these girls would crack their worlds open. For now, though, it was just the beginning of a very long, very chaotic, very important story. Thank you for listening to Sparks. This story is a beginning. If you'd like to continue this world, Bloom, the first full novel in the Elementals of India series, is available on Amazon and Kindle Unlimited. You'll meet new characters, discover deeper magic, and see where these threads lead. You can also join my reader list for an exclusive bonus story set in this world. All links are in the description.